Red or green? I'm blind. My first on the books job was at a grocery store. One day we had a regular who was entirely blind, and I helped him shop. He was a good guy, I liked working with him, but I screwed up a few times. We were in produce and he asked about grapes, so I asked, red or green? I immediately was mortified but still was not sure how else to describe them. He tried a few and selected one or the other. I forget which I got him, but I made sure he had the freshest grapes in the darn store. By checkout I had been descriptive enough that he had too many products for his bag. Apparently, he normally loaded his groceries into a large hiking backpack and walked home. I had simply described too many things that he liked. So, he needed to borrow the cart to get his groceries home. Normally carts were not allowed out of the parking lot. I walked with this man all the way to his home a few blocks away. The final mistake, I asked him if he wanted me to turn his lights on for him. I guess it did not matter. To this day I really hope that he did not hate me and that I was a good help. This is lovely. I'm sure your accidental hiccups made him chuckle inside. Sounds like you were a great help. Good work. No need to feel bad about the grapes. I'm sure I could do a lights off taste testing and my family would prefer green grapes over red every time. I mean, they're different cultivars, and usually aren't distinguished by anything other than color and grocery store labeling. Just like the difference between Golden Delicious and Red Delicious, they're different apples that just happen to be named based on color. Cultivars. You taught me a new word. Thank you. Hee, totally. Also, as far as do you want the lights on? I'd bet that it does matter to most blind folks, unless they live in a super nice neighborhood. I mean, I don't leave the porch light on all night because I'm needing to see stuff on the porch at 3:00 a.m. Thank you. Seriously, this makes so much sense but I never even considered it. I'm gonna fix the bulb over the door we never used that burned out way too long ago. He may not have been able to see, but he could darn sure tell that you're a beautiful person. I have a friend who's blind. Had gone to a store with his wife and she'd gone in the restroom. Employee comes up behind him and asked if he needed help. My friend turns, takes off his sunglasses showing his pupil-less eyes, and while wiping the lenses, asks, "Could you point me to the mirrors?" Fortunately, his wife came out at that time. Seeing the confused employee, she gave my friend a slap on the back of his head. She also made him apologize. So I'm not blind, but what I've gleaned from blind people is that sometimes they can perceive light and shadow. They can't make out details, of course, but it may aid navigation. That's true. There's a spectrum of blindness and some do rely on light just like sighted people. Lost my glasses into a lake 15 minutes into a full day on the boat. I'm really useless without my glasses. Spent the rest of the realizing how many references people make daily about sight. Look out, there is a fishing pole overhead. Can you go up front and watch for rocks? I can go up front. Is that Frank? I don't think you want me that close to Frank. And if it's not Frank, well, that would be awkward. If you can go get the car, I will buoy the boat. I don't mean to act lazy, but do you really want me doing either of those jobs? And my one request all day, what song is this playing on the radio? It's right there on the screen. Oh right, you can't see the screen. It was very humbling. And a bit comical as everyday talk became absurd when the glasses went for a swim. I'm in the same situation. Things start to go out of focus after several single-digit feet. Get beyond 100 feet and is that light red or green? As a blind person, don't feel bad at all. I can't eat green grapes because they give me the absolute worst heartburn. And if someone said the sour grapes or something, I'd be way more confused than I would have been just having the colors said to me. Admittedly, I went blind as an adult, so that helps. I also tell people not to worry about lights though, since I can go around and shut them off and wander around my home easier than a sighted person can with all the lights out. I once offered to share my hymn book with a blind man. I was late, quickly grabbed the seat next to him. I still cringe at the embarrassment. And also remember sitting on the bathroom floor cry laughing with my best friend because it was so ridiculous. I had a blind roommate in college. She was never offended when we said things like, "Look at this." I never thought about it, but a blind person wouldn't know if they needed to change a light bulb until they had a guest. The majority of blind people can at least see light. It's something like 1 in 100 or so that are totally blind. However, at a residential program for the blind taught by blind teachers, one of mine was a total, and he'd regularly just totally forget that lights are a thing. Had more than one lesson in total darkness because it kept me from getting headaches, and he had to use an app to see if the light was already on or not. Many visually impaired and blind people would laugh at this. Remember when Ryan Seacrest tried to high-five a blind guy? You were fine. I like this one.